goes. I'm just in my room wrapping up the week things because I didn't really do a lot this week. It's been kind of an up and down week for me. So, like, I'm back to working one day a week. My manager called me in when I worked Wednesday and basically explained that he cut everybody's hours, not just mine, because he needed to save the dollars for payroll for back to school, and he's also hiring people so we can be fully staffed for back to school, and that's why everybody's hours are getting cut. But here's the thing. My mom has worked in retail for many years, so I know that that's not how payroll works. You're not gaining anything by cutting hours. Also, we don't honestly need like 30 some employees at the store I work at because we don't, even back to school, we see a lot of traffic. It's not as much as he thinks it is. So, but I think what really got me is he basically came out and said that since I'm not pushing customers to sign up for like our rewards program and like credit cards and stuff like that, since I'm not pushing customers to do that, when back to school starts, there is no guarantee that I'm going to see my hours increase to where they were before. Like when I first started working, I was working like 30, 35 hours a week. Now I'm working 4 hours a week, and there's no guarantee that I'm even going to get back up to 8. So that was not fun to hear, but I just have to remind myself, I'm lucky I have a job. I just have to push through it until I can get something better. And I thought I had found something better. I did a 5-minute interview yesterday for a receptionist job at a local CPA office, which I'm kind of wanting to move a little bit away from retail. Okay, so if I stay in retail, I want to work my way up to become like a more managerial human resources. I can't do that where I am right now because there's no way I could do that. So I'd have to find another store to work at where I could do that, where I'd have movement, I could work my way up, but that would take a few years. My other thing is, other than just quitting work altogether and being a full-time writer, which will never happen, is I want to move away from retail and working in the financial institutions. I have a degree. For those of you who don't know, I have an Associates of Business Administration in accounting, and I haven't done anything with it. I have trouble with math and science because of numbers, where some people, the letters switch. It's for me, it's numbers. So I've always been slightly this is not a degree I picked personally. I would never have picked accounting for myself. But my mom liked accounting, so when I struggled, I was going to be a teacher. Can't do that because of my issues with numbers. So I went to graphic design. I can't do art on computer, save my life. And then I switched to, and finally my mom said, okay, you're just going to go get your degree in accounting. 2 years, you'll be done. It was more like a year and a half. So accounting is not a career I personally would have chosen for myself. But I got the degree, but because it's not a career I've been interested in, nor is it something I feel comfortable doing, I have never used my degree for anything other than like, look, I actually went to college and I accomplished something, so here's my associate. So I do kind of want to start investigating switching from retail to, I don't actually have to be an accountant, just working in some way, shape, or form within a financial institution, be it like a receptionist position, simply so that maybe once I'm in a financial institution and exposed to something like accounting, I can maybe get more confidence and actually go, hey, I want to do something with my degree, other than just letting it sit and collect dust. So that is what I am trying to figure out. So I had this job interview, it was 5 minutes, and I came home and I said, I don't know if the people who, I feel like the people who interviewed me, they were slightly offended. I don't know if they were offended by the fact that I am a nerd. I mean, look at my room. Look at my room. There's like no question about it. I am a nerd. I am a geek. So I don't know if they were offended by that, because one of the questions they asked me was what was the last book I had read, and the last book I had read was Star Wars: The Old Republic Annihilation. I said I'm outing myself as a nerd. Because I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love MCU, and I love Disney. Of course, I had a little minor brain malfunction because they asked me what the last movie I saw in theaters was. The last movie I saw in theaters was Detective Pikachu. I told them the last movie I saw in theaters was Avengers Endgame. I had totally forgotten I had gone to see Detective Pikachu. That's partly because Detective Pikachu was good. Endgame was so much better, and they're re-releasing Endgame next week. So that is why in my head I went, oh, I saw Avengers Endgame. Wait, that's not it. I saw Detective Pikachu. But still, so I don't know if they were offended by that or what I said later, because one of the women, because I was talking about how the lady asked me, are you going to go see Toy Story 4? And I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, why not? And I said, well, I have to make a choice. And the guy's like, why? And I'm like, my financial situation. I only work 1 day a week, 4 hours a week. And there's a lot of stuff I want to do. Like, I'm still working on going to Michigan's Adventure this summer. And I came up with 2 possible dates to go. And I'm waiting to hear back from my dad. My brother and I are planning to go see Spider-Man Far From Home in a few weeks. I am planning to hopefully go see Frozen in the fall, to go see The Rise of Skywalker in December. And if I could swing it after seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, if Avengers Endgame is still at theaters and it's re-released here, maybe going to go see Endgame again in theaters. Even though it's coming out in August, I don't think I could wait that long. And so I explained to them, I have to choose because of my financial situation. I can't just do everything I want to do. I wanted to go see Aladdin and Dumbo and Captain Marvel and Endgames and Detective Pikachu. I got lucky. My friend took me to go see Detective Pikachu. That was a date I went on. So I was lucky because I got to see Detective Pikachu that way. But I had to choose between Dumbo and Aladdin and Avengers and Endgame and Captain Marvel, and I could realistically only pick 2 of those. So what did I pick? I picked Endgame and Captain Marvel because those were the 2 movies I thought I was going to enjoy the most, and I did. They were awesome and amazing. But it's the same thing. The Lion King is coming out. Of course I would love to go see The Lion King. But I had to make a choice, Lion King or Spider-Man. And I'm going to go see Spider-Man. And maybe Endgame again. I'm not sure about that yet. But it's like 4th of July is coming up, and I have this plan for the 4th of July. I'm going to get on my bike. I'm going to go downtown. We have a sculpture series downtown. It's themed around golf balls, which should be interesting, but I want to go take pictures of these sculptures. I want to go have lunch at one of my favorite restaurants, Pizza Sam's, and then I want to hightail it to the other side of town and go to DQ and get one of their new Reese's Peanut Butter Lover Blizzards. So I have plans that I have made these plans that I don't want to ruin. I'm thankful because I got a little financial bonus in the mail that I wasn't even sure I was going to get. So you guys know those settlements they do? Apparently I got one for a magazine thing, and my mom told me to fill out the card. I didn't want to do it, but I filled out the card, sent it, and I actually got a nice little financial bonus, which boosted me a little which allowed me to get a little present and a card for my cousin who graduated college, and her graduation party is tomorrow. So I got that for her today, and I also got there's one new itty bitty, I don't know if you can see her, I'll show it to you guys another time. But, so that helped, but when I told them about the fact that I'm not very clearly, from any definition of the term, well-to-do or wealthy or well-heeled, I wondered if that offended them. If they were offended by the fact I was a nerd, or that I was poor, did not come from means, or was it a combination of both, that I'm a poor, broke nerd? But I'm like, okay. And the thing that got me is they told me they were looking for someone to start next Monday. Yesterday was the first day they were doing interviews, and they were doing 2, I think 2 rounds is what I was told. So yesterday was the first round, which was 5 to 10 minutes. And then they were going to call back the people they liked to do a second interview, pick after that second interview, and have the person start next Monday. They didn't tell me this when they started the interview. They asked me when I could start. I said I'd like to give 2 weeks notice, because actually, finally, I'm scheduled for the next 2 weeks, so I could work those 2 weeks and be done. I told them my pay rate, and after I told them what rate of pay I was hoping to get, that's when they told me they wanted someone to start next Monday. I wanted to say, I can do it. I have to let my boss know, I'd have to let him know as soon as I get it, but I didn't hear back from them, so it's obvious I didn't get it, but that's okay. I put my feelers out at someplace. I applied at a little clothing store, be a receptionist at a hair salon, so a salon/spa, so I have little feelers out there. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep job hunting. I am not going to let this be the thing that breaks me. I am stubborn. I'm a Michiganer. Michigander, however you want to say it. I never give up. But yeah. But other than that, it was like that was Thursday I had the interview. Yeah, Thursday. But Wednesday night I was I'm trying how to say this without being too depressing. My Aunt Inez passed away Wednesday night. And she's a relative on my mom's side of the family, and it's kind of a lot. I'm being very bubbly and upbeat, but that's because I know that's what I am in my mom's family. I'm the weird one because I'm really bubbly and positive and always happy and sunny and stuff like that. And it's sad, and it got me really sad because she had just gotten really sick. Her kidneys had started failing, and she decided she didn't want to fight anymore. So they moved her into hospice care, and she just passed away Wednesday night. And my mom hadn't told me, and I had found out on Facebook. So that sucked. Her funeral's tomorrow. My mom can't go. I'm not going. My dad is going, and then we're going to go to my cousin's graduation party after. But it kind of sucked, and what makes it worse is she lived with my godmother, who is also my mom's godmother, my Aunt Bertha, and I love my Aunt Bertha to death. My Aunt Bertha's husband, Fred, was my mom and I's godfather. My Uncle Fred was the one who made this. And totally random question, but if anyone knows what this stone is, please let me know because I have no clue. But this was from my uncle, godfather Fred, and he was my Uncle Fred, and I loved and adored him so much. And apparently he loved me. All I have to go on is family stories because when I was about around 3 years old, shortly before my brother was born, my Uncle Fred got Alzheimer's really, really bad to the point where my Aunt Bertha had to put him in a home at the hospital. So I don't actually remember him. All I have to go on is stories that he liked to make me laugh in the middle of church, that he loved that it drove my parents crazy because Uncle Fred would like sit there and say, "Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here," and I would leave them and go sit with my Uncle Fred, and then in the middle of prayers, I'd just let out this big, huge laugh because my Uncle Fred's sitting there telling jokes and teasing me, and apparently he's the one that got me hooked on donuts. So, but like I said, I don't have any memories of him, and after they put him in the home, my Aunt Bertha, who never drove herself, she moved in with my Aunt Inez, and they lived together. And my Aunt Bertha is not doing well either. She's going blind and deaf, and I think all her kids live out of state or they don't live here. And now Aunt Inez is gone, and I'm like, what's going to happen to my godmother? Who's going to live with her? I mean, she and my Aunt Inez, they were like two peas in a pod. They were insane. They were so full of mischief, and I loved them to death. And now it's like, what's gonna happen to my Aunt Bertha? Who's gonna take care of her? Who's gonna stay with her? Who's gonna provide her with companionship? And my mom's like, I don't need to worry because all that's taken care of. But it's like, I'm bright and bubbly, but I'm also a worrier. I worry a lot, and now I'm worried about Aunt Bertha. And then, of course, this gets me thinking about the fact that so many of my family members on either side of my family are elderly, are older, and it got me thinking about my grandma Sharon, who has cancer, and I don't hear from her. She'll email me once in a while, and it hurts because she and I used to be really close, and I don't hear from her anymore. And she's sick, and I'm terrified about not knowing what's happening. And then my great aunt Karen, I saw her a couple days at the store, and she made the joke that if I wasn't doing anything with the weight I'm losing and have lost, I should give it to her because she needs it because she can't keep any weight on. And I'm like, oh God, don't say that. So, I'm sorry, I did not mean for this to be depressing, but it's just those things I feel like I think about because I have to look around and look at my parents, siblings, and my mom and my dad, both sides of their family, and realize that so many of the people I spent so much time with. And this happens a lot now because, like I said, a good chunk of my family is elderly, and it feels like every year I'm losing one or two family members, and it's just driving me bonkers. But the only thing I can do is go. Aunt Inez wanted to leave; she was ready, and they would not want me to stay sad and depressed. They'd want me to be the happy-go-lucky little girl they remember bouncing around all over and always on like a perpetual sugar high. So I just have to remind myself that they are happy, they're in heaven, and that's all I've got to do. And focus on the good things, like going to go see Spider-Man in a few weeks, and maybe going to Michigan's Adventure, and pushing my limits and seeing what I can do, and just continuing to live my life and be happy. So, yay. So I'm going to get going, you guys. This will be it for this week, and I will talk to you guys next week. Hopefully next week won't be as depressing, and I might have some news about Michigan's Adventure. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to get going. You guys stay safe and stay sane. I'm sending you all lots of love, hugs, and prayers, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.